Welcome to Stories and Songs, a series of interviews with musicians in the world of jazz and improvisation. I'm Sophia Carbonara, and it's my great pleasure today to be talking to Flora Carbo.
Hi, Sophia.
Hello, Flora! Okay, my first question for you. What have been the pivotal events in your musical journey?
Hmm. I think I think my whole musical journey has been uh well, pivotal, maybe not pivotal, but events. I think it's been just a culmination of some excellent events. I feel like I've been very lucky um in my musical world. I guess some of the things that come to mind are as a child, we used to always go to these music festivals. So every holiday, every opportunity, my father's a guitarist, and my mom loves the community side of music, and so every opportunity we'd be at one of these festivals, particularly Woodford Folk Festival, the National Folk Festival, um, and then Wangaratta Jazz Festival, of course, which has come up to its final year, which is very sad. And every free event we could be at in Melbourne, any sort of music. And so I feel like I was basically brought up to be a performing musician. I think there was no other option. But some of these events that I really remember was particularly when I was in um, I think I was in grade two. I think I want to be like seven or eight maybe. And we were at the Wangaratta Jazz Festival as we were every year. And the couple of times we've been before, I remember being like, oh, these songs are so long. What's going on? I don't get it. What are we doing here? I didn't quite understand it at all. And then I went to see Tamara Murphy. And so Tamara's mother, Julie, it was my teacher, my favorite teacher at primary school. So she taught me, she took my class. And so I was like, oh, it's Julie's daughter. And then I watched Tamara's set. It was with Murphy's Law, I believe. And I just remember being totally engrossed, going, "Oh my God, it's Tamara Murphy! It's Julie Murphy's daughter!" And then I remember leaving that room, leaving that concert, having watched the whole thing and being so immersed and just enjoying the music so much. And then I was like, "Oh, I get it now." I was like, "I love this." And then from then on, I was just absorbed in the music. I just kind of like that was the tipping point of like, "Oh, I really like this music and this world." Um, and that was when I was eight. I remember that so vividly. So that was a really nice sort of pivotal moment, I suppose, as a child. But that's sort of from a lot of practice, I suppose, from seeing lots of live music and basically absorbing live music as a educational tool, I suppose. Um, but then I don't know. I picked up recorder in primary school, clarinet, and then I went to play saxophone, and then saxophone again. Starting the saxophone was another pivotal moment because I realized I could connect to, through improvisation, you can really, it's such a strong connector between people. And so I realized that as soon as I started improvising, it meant that I could, well, one, play in the big band with everybody from every corner of the school, in terms of age or from any different world. And I loved that. That was so fun. And being able to make stuff up and feel like you have a community of people that you can do that with. And so I think for me, that kind of music was an inside, like learning to improvise was a way to, yeah, connect to a community of people. And I started to get hooked on that feeling. And I used to play in this ensemble outside, connected to the Wangaratta Jazz Festival as well, with a few people that I still play with regularly today, including my brother and Robbie Finch and Scott Vangemert and Pat Jaffe, actually, yeah, and a whole sort of cohort. And we every month we'd go down and we'd practice just playing together, and we'd work on things, and it was an incredible thing. And so I had that alongside learning music through high school and going to live music and absorbing it all. So I feel like there's this strong live music sort of connecting culture that I sort of got brought up on, and that's all sort of set me off on the path that I'm on today, which I feel like I've come to sort of I don't know, really value those kinds of connections. And the sort of, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today. I feel like I'm doing a lot of work in organizing gigs and music, and thinking a lot about community and thinking a lot about getting people together in places and facilitating things. And I think that is a really, really important part of the music world, and it's a really strong one in Melbourne. There's so many opportunities. Um, yeah, I don't know. And I guess that's kind of pivotal in the sense that there's a lot of things that I'm thinking about alongside music as well. And I've been away for a little while and I've come back, and I've been so excited to come back because of these incredible connections that we have here in Melbourne, and the deep sort of connecting ties and experimental sort of concepts that people are just going for and trying, and the support that we have as a community for each other's ideas and the willingness to try out stuff. I don't know, it's very special here, and I think there's capacity for so much depth, the going into the unknown. So fun.
I love this. It's beautiful. I love these stories. I love your story of being 8 years old and seeing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow. It all makes sense. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. And Tamara's the best.
She's amazing. And she's amazing. She's incredible. My second question for you. What obstacles have you had to overcome during your musical life, and how have you dealt with them?
This is I was worried about this question because I feel like I've been incredibly lucky. I've had one of the most supportive, sort of almost seamless sort of musical life, I guess, in the sense that I've sort of been able to, it's felt easy to work in the space that I've been working, and it's felt I haven't come up against much sort of obstacles necessarily, in the sense that yeah, I'm trying to think, because I feel like ever since I started to play music from when I was younger, it's always been a place where I don't know, it's always been a place where you were, I don't know, I've always felt a really nice, strong presence and mindfulness from playing music. And I think that, it's just been an avenue of being able to sort of push something, I don't know, or be like, this is where I am right now. And I don't know, doesn't matter how I'm feeling or what else is happening, to be able to connect in this moment with these people, or be able to perform for an audience and connect with them, or to be able to, I don't know, be exploratory and try something in that wavelength of communicating through music, has always been something that's never, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, this is so rambly, sorry Sophia, but it's like, I feel like that's always been such a help in every aspect of my life, that music has never been, there's never been many things that are an issue. I don't know, and again, I'm coming from a privileged place in saying that, because I have such an incredible support. My family have always been supportive of me as a musician. My friends, I can't say enough of how much support and encouragement, and just to be able to play music with some of your best friends is one of the best things ever in the world. It's there's I don't know, I just think that we're so lucky, I don't know, and I'm so lucky to be able to do this, that it's such a joy, and it always has been and always will be, I think.
I'm looking these obstacles with music.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but maybe it's a little bit of I'm in a bubble, and I am, in that sense of the contexts of things. But in terms of my musical, I don't think I've had much of an obstacles necessarily. But I think one of the key things that has helped me a lot has been that throughout learning jazz, I suppose, throughout studying jazz as a saxophone player, I sort of was I love jazz, but I felt like when I was at university studying jazz, I found myself, because I've always been obsessed with music, but I found myself leaning towards, I would spend a lot of time learning violin and fiddle, learning folk music, singing songs and strumming the guitar and learning covers and all this kinds of things. And I put a lot of work into that, and often to the detriment of the work that maybe is alongside the jazz course, the thing that I was there to do. But I don't know, I've always felt that music should always be easy. It should be something that doesn't, and if you want to go sing a song, go sing a song. You shouldn't let like your saxophone teacher or somebody go, what do you mean you're not practicing 15 hours a day? It's like, well, I've played music for 20 hours today, but I've just done 15 other things, and it's all valuable in the sense that if it feels like you want to do that, you should be doing that. And that's so important as composers, as improvisers, because we have to practice that kind of instinct, I suppose. We have to practice that feeling. And I think that was something that I really learned from university, and I think it helped me because sometimes I was finding myself in situations like, hang on a sec, that doesn't feel exactly like me. And I think that if I didn't have other outlets, it would have been more challenging. But because I was able to, I don't know, I gave myself permission to be inspired by everything around me, and that was really, yeah, that was a real. I think, yeah, I was very lucky that I had that as well. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think.
Comes to me and connects to the next question. Do you have a motto or personal philosophy that guides you, or what advice would you share with younger musicians?
Good one. Well, I guess maybe that ties to that in a sense. I think that I have been teaching for a few years as a lot of primary school students, and what I've been really enjoying working with them. Like, I'm new to teaching primary school students, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work in a couple of years, but I've been starting off with them doing lots of like deep listening exercises, and before we even pick up an instrument or before we make sound, we sort of think and listen and try and recognize what are the sounds that we're hearing right now. And sometimes we do like a little walk and do a little sound walk and notice what's going on. And I find that and the context for that is going, see, sound is all valuable. And then what we do is we listen to some music that they like. I want to hear what they like to listen to. And we listen to it with the same open mind of going, what can I hear? Why do I like this? Or what is this? And kind of nutting out things and picking and choosing, so that it's not coming from a place of like, now here is the music we're learning. This is what music is. Now let's put all our time and effort into this. It's like, actually, hang on a sec. How does this relate to what we like? We need to find what we like. And yeah, I think that that's something that I think is really important, and also at any stage in a musical career, it's what we like about an artist. What I like about artists is hearing the influences from 15 million different places. You can kind of tell. You can go, well, nobody sounds like that just because they listen to this one person that their teacher told them to listen to, or that kind of thing. And so I think that's really important for just finding those instincts and trusting those instincts, and finding what you like. Yeah, I think that's a real strong thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know I've got something else. Oh, what's that?
I'm very inspired.
Yeah. I think, yeah, because it's about advice, right? Sort of advice as well. Yeah. And I reckon the other thing I would say is live music, like being able to go see live music, is one of the best things ever in the world. And I think that as young musicians, often now, because we've got so much music accessible to us and so much that's just available to us, it's like tempting to, I don't know, I think not go out and see things happening in real time. And I don't know, I just think that it's something so special about it. It's like, even if you don't like a gig, you get something out of it. Even if you are having, yeah, I just think it's one of the best ways of being present, and one of the best ways of practicing is going to see live music. So many times I go to a gig, I leave the gig going, now I know exactly what I want to do. Or like, I've got this idea that I want to try. In the middle of the night, you're going, I've got this thing I need to do. I want to go play saxophone now. And then, in the morning you work on it, and I find it's a real strong fuel when you can see people doing it in real time and doing it live, and you can see the connections that are occurring, and you get that special sense of like, wow, I'm here in the room with these artists, and that's so special. Like, not everybody gets this opportunity right now. Not everybody is here to experience this, but I am, it's super special.
Hell yeah. And of course I can come go see you many nights of the week.
Well, not so busy, but maybe.
Oh, that's so inspiring for it. That's really inspiring. I find your tips very inspiring, particularly. My final question for you is, would you share and nominate a song and album of your own creation for us to listen to? So anyone hearing this can come check out your music and maybe share the story of that music or why you're sharing that now.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I'll share. I made an EP during the lockdowns called Arthur's Walks, and it was a little bit of a different thing that I've done before. It was like a little bit of an experiment in self-recording and self-producing something. And it all came about during the COVID time where we didn't have live music. We weren't performing, we weren't playing, and I had this weekly opportunity to play with the Isolation Improvisation Collective, where we would all improvise on Zoom, and it was all chaotic and fun and all the sound, but it was amazing. It was so great, and it felt real close to being in a room with people, and that was wonderful. And so I had a microphone, I set everything up, I had everything really nicely. I don't know, I just got really excited about recording things and using that as connecting tools. And so I started making these little like ideas and recording these little ideas, and then I realized I was like, oh, I'd love to get so and so to play something on this. Like, I can just hear this, and then I'd send it to a friend, they'd send it back, and then I'd have some issue with mixing it together, and I don't know, some technology would break down and it would turn into this weird sound, and I'd be like, whoa, this is cool. And so I just sort of, it was a really creative time for me as a composer, I suppose, in the sense that I was writing music based purely on sound and not writing it into sheet music and then going to rehearse, practice, record, whatever. It was like all straight from sound. And I think that process was really, I don't know, it opened me up a little to a lot of different influences that I maybe through the process of composing something, notating, composing something, having an idea, going to the piano, then notating, then doing that whole step process, often I find I sort of get to a similar place, or like, I don't know, I get to a similar sort of world of sound. Whereas when you go straight into a laptop or a computer by recording sound, you start to find things that are different. I don't know, or you can lean into some things, you can get rid of others. And the only thing you have is your intuition to guide you. You don't have, oh, this is a C, so it has to be a D, or whatever it is, and so that process was really important for me, and I feel like it was a really key point in this sort of open-mindedness that we were talking about, and sort of a way of I don't know, staying sane during the lockdowns, but also finding creativity in that space too. Yeah. And I became obsessed with this artist Arthur Russell, and so and his approach to music and writing, he just has all of this music. Just music seems to just like flow out of him. He does like all these recordings, songs, everything, every genre, inspired by thousands of different genres. Anyway, I just was very inspired by his world of sound, and so I think yeah, I sort of took on that process, I suppose, a little, and I really got a lot out of it for myself as a growing as a musician, I think. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love Arthur's Walk, so I hope anyone hears Arthur's Walk.
Thanks, Sophia.
Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom, Flora. You have so much wisdom to share.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Thanks, Sophia.